But oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Welcome back to Onto the Ball. I'm back with OB to go over Liverpool against Luton. Luton 0, Liverpool 4 was my prediction. Luton 0, Liverpool 3, I think, was OB's prediction. On Friday, I said the Luton players are going to be in awe of Mo Salah like he's prime Lionel Messi. They're going to be more worried about getting his shirt at full time than they are winning this game. And my God, we got the fright of our lives. And Obi, I'm sure you're going to say the exact same as me. It could have been a lot worse. We can't take anything away from Luton. They were absolutely fantastic, incredible. And I'm gutted at how good they were.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Scott. They were really, really good. They played that 5-4-1, didn't they? And they just didn't leave any space between the lines. They just banked on us probably missing a few big chances, which we did in the game, and a few big opportunities in the game, and then basically struck with a counter-attack from our corner while we were too busy claiming for a penalty, which was quite naive on behalf of some of our players. I mean, they got their game plan right. They knew what they wanted to do. They didn't care about having the ball. They just wanted to make it tough for us, waited for us to miss our chances, and we did, Scott.
Do you know what it reminded me of, Obi? Sat there. I started panicking probably on 30 minutes. And then the next time I looked at the clock and I thought I'm getting a bit sweaty was 55 minutes. Do you know what it reminded me of? Pretty much last season. So when
Forest.
they went 1-0 up, Forest, yeah, pretty much any of them kind of games. Forest, Bournemouth,
yeah,
where we just huff and puff, but there's no end product. And I just thought they're going to nick this. And then true to form was at 81st minute. They go up the other end and you could see it happening all the way. But everything about it, just the kind of defeatist attitude I had in my head. I don't know if you had it, but when I seen Tsimikas and Harvey Elliott coming on, I thought, oh my God, we're waving the white flag here.
Do you know what, though, Scott? What I would say is the response from the players from going 1-0 down was really positive. It was probably something that we can take out of it, and Klopp will take out of it. You have a stinker performance every so often, you do, where you're missing chances, and Nunez missing that chance, and Salah heading it, and it would have been overturned because he looked like he was onside. It's like, and he was, and that's it. So between the two of them, they both hash of that. And it's like, it's one of them days.
Though. More Nunez.
Oh, yeah, but if you look at Salah's initial header, that's a honker as well.
But still, it was on a plate for Nunez, though, wasn't he? Literally laid on a plate, whether it was a bad header or not.
I know it was.
And on Friday, just to remind you, we said he lurches from the absurd to the sublime. Is he world class? And we're both like pairing it, how he's coming good finally. And then he goes and serves up that chance. It was harder to miss.
Yeah, Scott, that's twice in what? A week and a half. He's missed absolute sitters. We're talking like open goal sitters. And then in between that, he scores a worldie. It's just what we're going to get from him. Now, for me, and I've said this to you before on the chat quite a lot, it's like it's difficult to accept at points, but it's like, does Klopp accept it and go, these are moments of lack of concentration, or does he go, do you know what, this guy's going to keep doing this, and I'll be here for it? You know what I mean? Are we here for the long term?
I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from Luton. I could sit here moaning maybe about the lineup or the performances. I don't want to take anything away from Luton. So obviously I want to talk about them first. Kabore on one side and Ogbene on the other side. Pace for days. They tore us apart. He executed the game fantastically.
The lad on Alexander Arnold's side had him for toast, didn't he? And he knew that really early on, yeah. And he was literally waiting for him. And he'd either go in, play the 1-2 and get him behind him, or just outpace him. And he'd done it a number of times. I mean, that was the way they were set up. They were set up to do that, set up to take them opportunities and let the wide boys hit hard, hit where we have got weaknesses. Obviously, with Alexander Arnold, the space in behind, we've seen loads and loads of teams hit that space. It's part of what we do, because we expect him to go so far up the park and create so far up the park. He's always going to be exposed to that. I think there's a five at the back denied us a lack of opportunity and lack of space. I think some of Nunez's movement early on was really good. The one where he needed it down and hit the bar, I thought he was a little bit unlucky with that. He'd done really, really well, and it was like an instinctive type of chance. And when we didn't score early, I knew it was going to be a problem. And I think I touched on that in the poddy the other day, where I says, we can get an early goal, we can calm ourselves down, and we can probably push away. And I expected us to be able to do that. But when we didn't get a goal, it's like you said, it's going on. And we've seen this script before. I think Luton were great. I think they've done really, really well. I think they set up really well in the formation. The manager obviously spent a lot of time studying it. It was a big game, big day for them as a club. And they responded and they played really well. So fair play to them.
What is Ross Barkley's problem, OB? Because I've mentioned it like maybe a decade ago. When did Steven Gerrard leave? 2015, if I'm correct. Yeah. I remember writing in our Liverpool group chat, I would go and break the bank, bring Ross Barkley from Everton, replace Steven Gerrard, put that position to bed for another 10 years. And then he seems to be blowing hot and cold. He obviously went to Chelsea, on loan to Villa. I was going to bring my stat pack onto this poddy today and remind you that Ross Barkley played in the Villa 7, Liverpool 2 result, but then Sky Sports put it up on the graphic anyway. He was fantastic that day, even got a goal that day. And then he went off to Turkey, I think it was, at Trabzonspor or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's about 29 now, so his time is gone. But every time I watch him, he's absolutely immense. And today he was box to box. I don't know how he can hold it together and have a decent career at a club. And I know maybe what you're going to say, but whenever he plays against Liverpool, he raises it because he's an Evertonian. But he's a fantastic footballer.
He is, and he does raise it against us, because I've seen him in other games where he looks rubbish, to be quite honest with you. And I think that there is a bit of that going on. I thought he looked like he was out of puff after 30 minutes. They did a zoom in of him on Sky. I don't know if you saw it, and he was
dripping wet.
And he was like, and he had his mouth open, and I thought, he's going to have to come off at halftime. We're getting to these guys, and he just got better. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. Like you say, if he's 29, you're on the verge of writing him off anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
He's not going to get a big club now, is he? Definitely not at 29.
No, he hasn't. And what he's done is he's performed today, and he was the lifeblood of everything that they did. He was him and Townsend were clever older heads to bring in, and they just made the right decision at the right point. They weren't hanging about with the ball at the back either. They weren't trying to play any stylish football, banging it into channels, banging it into space, trying to get out wide to the wide boys to cause us problems. And they were happy to have little of the ball, because when they were out of possession, they were immense. The amount of work that they did as a defensive group when they didn't have the ball was brilliant. And they deserve all the plaudits for that.
The thing is, like you say, they executed the game plan to perfection. And it's, again, I feel foolish. You always get dragged in when you're flying. I said it to Trav, I'm sure, on yesterday's Man United live match reaction. I said, this is not like last season. Last season, it was like there was no easy games. There was no gimmies. This season, I feel like the quality has dropped off a bit. You've got teams like Villa in and around the top 4, top 5. And then you've got Sheffield United and Luton. Burnley, probably put that in there. So that's the 3 promoted sides. They're gimmies. And I've been caught by my own trap. I'm calling Luton a gimme, and then we've just drawn 1 each with them and been largely not outplayed, but outbattled, outworked.
I think the first half, I think we were outworked. I think the second half, I think we just couldn't break them down. I think there was a difference there. I want to talk about this, Scott, because it's really, really important. Is when we conceded the goal, I thought we upped it, and we were always going to score. And I was thinking to myself, 8 minutes, we're going to score. And I honestly thought that. And then, like, my son next to me was like, we could score a couple here, because we look like if we're going to score 1, we're going to score 2. And there was opportunities.
I'm glad you did, OB, because I thought this is 22, 23 Liverpool. We're not scoring here.
No, and do you know what? It was such a good cross, and then the moment it was Diaz's moment. I know it come off his shoulder, but it was like poetic justice. It really was. After everything that guy's gone through, and he obviously showed the T-shirt about his dad and everything else, and I thought that was written. It was just so lovely to see, and it's very difficult for anybody who supports any team to deny him that opportunity. And at the end of the day, I mean, if you put it down into stats, we didn't deserve to lose that game. We had enough of it. We had enough chances. We probably should have won it. At the end of the day, we've rescued a point. We walk away and we go, okay, we had a bad day and we dropped 2 points, and we're still above Arsenal in the league on goals scored. We're now above them on goals scored, played the same amount of games. So if they're title contenders, we learn from that, we move on, and the group moves on, and they go, okay, we got away with that one, and we develop as a football team. My concern is that people like McAllister had a terrible game.
Literally taking the words out of my mouth. That was my next point. Go, take it away. Take it away.
So there's 2 points to this. I've never seen him play for Argentina or Brighton in that position. And now he's playing there. In the last sort of 4 games, he doesn't look comfortable. And today was his worst point. And I don't know, and I'm probably nicking what you were going to say, but after he was yellow carded, I thought he was going to get sent off. I really did, because I could see him lurching into tackles and then having to pull out. And it's like, at that point, it was like, get him off the pitch quick, get him off now. You know what I mean? And they made the subs and they left him on the pitch. And to be fair, he seemed to grow into the game, but that was because he was more advanced. As we were pressing for the equaliser, he got more involved and he was actually playing better than he had the whole game. And it kind of shows that we haven't got a number 6. We really haven't. And if it takes us to play Endo and drop one of them 3 lads, that's what we need to do in the short term, because we get exposed. We do get exposed at points, and McAllister isn't a number 6. He's wearing a number 10 on his back for a reason. He should be and when he plays for Argentina, he's the most advanced of the 3. So they have Fernandez and they have De Paul, and then they have him, and he's the most advanced of the 3. And we're literally playing him as a CDM, which doesn't sit right with me.
I'm going to be careful what I say, because Trav's just joined us. He says Obi said it would be tough, was an intriguing watch. It was. Obi said we probably deserved to win. Maybe looking at the stats and the chances we had, yeah, I'll 100% agree with you. But when you look at the whole game as a whole, I'm so glad we just got out of there with a point, because Luton were fantastic and implemented their game plan to almost perfection. So we did. If we took our chances, would have won that. But I'm taking nothing away from Luton. So fair play to them. But yeah, on to McAllister. I said it on the Liverpool group chat. He's not a bad buy. Okay, let's get that first and foremost, because he's not playing in his preferred position. He's not a CDM. We're asking him to play that. His confidence obviously is going to be taking a hit when he's putting in these below par performances at CDM. So that is not going to be helping him. I didn't think he could get any worse than he did away to Brighton. And I think today he surpassed that. He was worse today than he was against Brighton. His ball retention was just honking. Someone, a Man U or a rival fan, is going to create a meme soon, or get some stats out and show how many times he's given the ball away in the last 4 games. And it's going to be frightening. Completed passes, whatever you want to call it. And it will happen now, OB, because I don't know if you noticed, he's had 5 yellow cards now, so he misses the Brentford game. Yeah. But I was going to say he either needs a rest for a couple of games, or, like you've just said, he needs to put in his position to build his confidence at least for a couple of games. And like you say, drop Endo in there to see how he can do.
Absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head there, Scott. I think missing the game is probably going to help him. It gives him a reset. It's not the worst game for him to miss as well. I mean, all of the games are tough, but if it was a team like in and around where we are in the league, I'd be a lot more concerned. I think he's probably doing his own head in as well, because there was a close up of him at one point, and I don't know if you noticed this, and he was annoyed with himself, and he was showing it on his face. So there's clearly something going on there. Klopp needs to take him in, put him under his wing, go, right, okay, what's the problem? What do we need to do to change it? And either develop him as a number 6 if Klopp thinks that he's got that ability, or develop him as a different type of midfielder, or just put him back into the position that he's most comfortable with and where he's won the World Cup. You know what I mean? So it's going to be an interesting time ahead, and see where Klopp lands on that. I mean, for me, Gravenberch looks like he's a player. It looks like he's got a lot going for him. I think Szoboszlai didn't have his best game today. However, he seems to have nailed. Yeah, he's nailed down the kind of role, and one bad game doesn't make you a bad player. But it looks to me like McAllister might be struggling to hold his place in the team in the short to medium term. So it's about what Klopp thinks he can do to improve what McAllister's output is at the moment, because it isn't right, and it's probably because of the position he's being asked to play more than anything else.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm never going to write him off as a sign-in and say he's been a poor buy when he's not even playing his right position. And he's had a solid start, a good start to the season, but just the last 3 or 4 games, he's been absolutely horrid. And he'll know that more than anyone. I think you might be alluding to when we took that corner and it rolled under his foot, a bit like Stevie G in 13-14 against Chelsea, and they broke away. It was just that you could see he was frustrated with himself, and that's his confidence is going to be taking a hit here. He's going to know that he's not playing very well. But I don't know if you watched any of the Copa Libertadores, if I've pronounced that right. But that Andrade or whatever his name is for Fluminense, they won it last night in extra time. Cracking goal from John Kennedy in extra time. A mad game. These South Americans, there was a scrap in the middle of the park at one point, and that Andre just ran past these 2 players having a scrap. But at full time, his manager had one of them like chats with him, like where they were in tears, kind of like the big goodbye. He's definitely leaving Fluminense, and if Twitter and social media and all the reporters are to be believed, he's going to Liverpool. I imagine if that's the case, he will get announced imminently, really, because I'm sure that's their season over now till February, unless someone can tell me otherwise. So even if I know he won't be able to sign and play until the 1st of January, but if he's coming to us, I expect it to be announced, and then that'll give Alexis McAllister just a little bit of reassurance that it's only short-term playing CDM, and hopefully he's going to get opportunities further up the park. But I agree with you. Gravenberch was probably the best midfielder today. His lovely little touches. I said the other day on the poddy that he can find space in a single bed with Gemma Collins, but his quick feet getting out of tight spaces and popping and playing the right ball was, again, fantastic. What a signing he looks. But yeah, onto Szoboszlai. You're right. Szoboszlai is only young, yeah, and he's brilliant. He's got all the attributes, his strength, power, his shot. Obviously, he's been getting compared to Steven Gerrard on the socials by fans. Because he's young, that's going to be going to his head. But Szoboszlai's not dictating and putting his stamp on games as much as I'd like him to, OB. And I think today was a game that perfectly illustrated that. I just wanted a bit more from him.
Do you think he's maybe a bit of a player who's more comfortable with playing at Anfield? Because I think some of his best performances have been there. And maybe when he goes away, he hasn't quite got the same swag to him. Because I was thinking that today. I mean, I don't know what you think, Scott, but he looks like he's a better player at home.
Maybe. It's just when I was watching him today, I was thinking, like, do what Kevin De Bruyne does. Now, I'm not putting him in the same bracket. Well, why wouldn't I put him in the same bracket? If we're putting him in the same stratosphere as Steven Gerrard, then he can be in the same bracket as Kevin De Bruyne. But I was thinking, come on, use your attributes, use your power, use your pace to break through the lines, drive into the box. And he just wasn't. If anything, he was he's too keen to turn back and play it backwards. And I was thinking, come on, you're supposed to be the new darling of Liverpool. Apparently he's sold more shirts than Mo Salah, according to reports. I was thinking a bit more ambition, a bit more drive, go forward, a bit more positive. I wasn't surprised when he got hurt, put it that way.
No, there was no space today. And that's the thing. The way Luton played, if you watch the midfield line, and there was a point in the game where they had a 5 at the back and they had 4 literally probably 3, 4, 5 yards in front of them, and they were just sitting, and they just had the one lad, and they hooked one lad and brought the other lad on towards the end, and he's just running around with a play, running around chasing the ball, and the rest of them are just sat in, and that's where experience makes a difference as well. So for me, it's like it's not about the youthful intent in that, because ultimately, if there's no space, there's no space. You ain't getting through unless you get a lucky deflection or something, a touch of brilliance. But what you've got to do is you've got to find a way of dragging them players out, dragging them out of position, dragging them wide, dragging them all over the park, and doubling up in certain wide spaces or in through the middle at points. And I didn't feel like, whereas in the past we've had people like Milner and Henderson and Fabinho who have been there, done it a million times. I think that there's a little bit of, in the midfield, have we got enough nous when we need to break them down? And we possibly haven't. We've possibly substituted a load of talented, a load of experienced players for a load of talented players, but we've got to develop them. But Klopp will use that. He'll use that as a training tool. I'm sure he'll play back the videos and go, in this instance, this is what I want you to do. This is how you beat teams who have got a deep block, or what was it called, a low block, or whatever it is now, and play in two really tight banks and with no space in between. You can't run in between the lines. And this is how I want you to start breaking these teams down. And this is what you need to do. So it could end up being a really good lesson for them. But it was harsh today. It was harsh. But yeah, it happens. And I didn't think the boys' heads ever went down, really.
Yeah, I don't think they did. Obviously, we battled till the end. But I said to you at half time, I'd have put Gakpo on for Jota at half time. I think Jota, he didn't have the best first half. I know he had a couple of chances, especially that near post, which was a good save from the keeper. He must have given the keeper the eyes into the far corner and thought, I'll nip it in there. The keeper read it where it was a great save. But yeah, I just thought, like you say, the low block, I think Gakpo would have been tailor-made for this to try and unlock something, drop a little bit deeper to allow Salah and Nunez in from the channels. But yeah, we just couldn't break them down. Barry's in the comments. Cheers for joining, Barry, again. Top man. We clearly need a 6. Klopp needs to sort that out in January. The manager keeps mentioning that Endo is a great 6. He said, check the tapes. I'll tell you what, Javier Mascherano used to be a great 6 when he was in his 20s as well, and we can check them tapes. But yeah, Barry, I don't think Endo's going to make it in this Liverpool team. I know OB laughs when I'm right off any player over 30, but he seems to be playing every Europa League, every League Cup game. I don't think he's going to get a chance in the Premier League. It just doesn't look tailor-made for him. But as we just mentioned, Andre from Fluminense is hotly tipped to be joining the Mighty Reds. So we'll have to see what happens. Hate that ground. The pitch is awful. At least it's not plastic anymore, Barry. Thank God for that. In the 80s, Luton did a Liverpool on the counter-attack. You could see it coming, couldn't you, Barry? We were just saying, I don't know if you're there at the start of the stream, but it was like Liverpool 22-23. The more we huffed and puffed, you just thought they're going to get a goal around the 70th, 80th minute, like Bournemouth, like Nottingham Forest, and we're going to be panicking. Thankfully, we had enough in the end to get over the line and grab the point, but Brazilian League finishes at end of December, right? Sound, that's it then. Well, he's not going to be announced in November and December. Then I imagine he'll be announced on the 1st of January, or holding up a Liverpool kit next to a Christmas tree like Van Dijk, Obi.
Yeah, January the 1st or January the 2nd. Like, Happy New Year, boys. There you go. There's your new player.
There's your new number 6 CDM for the next 10 years. Did you see any of the Copa Libertadores, or whatever it's called, Obi?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't had a chance to have a look at it. Was it? Does it look like he's a player, Scott?
Yes. Obviously, I put a tweet out. It's obviously only an eye test. I watched the second half in extra time, and there's a few compilations on Twitter. He looks like he's got skills. He's more than just a CDM destroyer like Mascherano. He rolls his socks down like Thiago and Jack Grealish. I mean, if that's not confidence for you, I don't know what it is. But yeah, he looks really good. Go on Twitter after this and just put in Andre Copa Libertadores videos, and you'll see a few compilations of him getting out of tight spaces and turning. He looks really good. Did Gomez play left back? Yeah, Trav. For those that had Tsimikas for a 4 million defender in the FPL team, you'd be disappointed, even though Tsimikas did get on. But yeah, it was Gomez left back, and he did all right. He does all right at fullback, doesn't he, Obi?
Yeah, he's good at fullback either side. He does a good job. I think he was brought in probably because a little bit of pace, to nullify the pace thing. He's quite good in the air, and they're quite a big physical team. So I think there was a little bit of the physicality of Gomez would probably help.
Yeah.
Tsimikas come on, and I thought Tsimikas actually did all right. I thought Tsimikas and Elliott both did all right when they come on. They actually give us more impetus as a team. And the last 10 minutes, I thought were really good. I thought we're trying to unlock them in the right way. We're trying to break them down in the right way, and got the moment. And I just want to talk about Luis Diaz, because how brave is that? Everything that he's been through to make himself available. Obviously, Klopp put him on the bench today, and then he comes on and he gets that moment. And he had his T-shirt on underneath, so it's like he knew it was going to happen. It was just beautiful, absolutely really beautiful. Was. When he scored, absolutely went mad. Absolutely went mad. He just knew. It was like written for him. It's like he knew that he was going to do everything in his power. He come on, he looked direct. He looked like he was a problem for them. Clearly hasn't been training as much as he should have been, and that's probably had an impact. But at the end of the day, come on and he give us a real cameo. And I mean, I know it come off his shoulder, but at the end of the day, he's the right place, right time, and it dipped in. So he's got us out of jail tonight, big time.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But when I was watching him, especially on the bench, I thought he must be sitting there just thinking about his parents and the kind of turmoil they're in, the horrendous ordeal they're going through. And I just thought, fair play to even being on the bench. And that just shows a testament of his character. Barry says he thought Andre played as a double pivot and he looked slow. Do you know what, Barry? I did think that, but I thought that towards the end of the game. I thought, I bet he's knackered. So I wasn't going to judge him on his speed, but I did think he looked really tired. I thought that it took him off, but I'm sure he played the whole of the extra time as well from what I've seen. But no, I was impressed by him. And obviously I hope that he does come to Liverpool. Put it that way. I'm putting my hat in the ring. I hope he comes to Liverpool. Luton played 5-4-1. Yeah, it was. Dan's in. Poor man's Ross Barkley. I don't know if you were just tuning in 10 minutes ago, Dan, but I was just saying, like, Ross Barkley is a baller. Every time he plays against Liverpool, he puts in a shift. When I watch him against Liverpool, he scored against Liverpool in the 7-2 Aston Villa game. He played amazing today. I look at him and think, how have you not got 50 England caps? Like, he's such a good player, but he's got all the attributes and ability, but doesn't apply himself. I don't know, maybe a bit like Stan Collymore. Remember, he'd join a new side and be ace for about 3 games and then disappear and join another Bradford or a Leicester or something.
Absolutely. I mean, I suppose the question is, would Chelsea take him back, or would they take him back now? And that's a question to the.
Is Dan. He still on Chelsea's books? Dan, or no?
I have absolutely no idea. I think he signed for Luton, but I'm not 100% sure. But would you take him back right now, considering the performance he just gave?
Yeah, I mean, he was immense today. Luton's left winger gave Trent a good game second half. Yeah, he tore him apart, didn't he? He embarrassed him a bit, especially with that stop-start run, left him for dead. And it was like Trent just struggles against these tricky wingers. But when you seen the stat on Sky Sports, they were piling all down Luton's left, our right. And it was obviously for that reason. He's slow in the first half. That's not very promising, Barry. Let's hope that if he comes to Liverpool, he copes with the cut and thrust of the Premier League. I know that much. I'd never take him back. Fair play, Dan. We released him a couple of seasons ago. Really? So he must have went to, I'm sure it was Turkey, Trabzonspor or something on a free. And now he's at Luton. And I'm sure he's about 29. So he's obviously the littlest hobo. Getting passed from club to club. He only likes playing against Ulox. He's ex-Everton. Otherwise, he's useless. That's what I said, Dan. I think he puts in a shift because he's an Evertonian. Injuries ruined his career. OB, I feel like I've done Harvey Elliott a little disservice. I said that when Klopp brought on Harvey Elliott and Tsimikas, it was almost like waving the white flag. We're not going to get back into this. And then he popped up with an assist for Diaz. And to be honest, he's not been as effective when he starts a game, especially if you listen to people on Twitter and from what I've watched in these cup games and stuff. But whenever he comes on the 60th, 70th minute, he never lets us down. His energy seems to kill teams.
And do you know what it is, Scott? He's got a really good first touch. He's technically a very good player, and it's underrated. And he's got a real will to make things happen. I thought the cross for DIAZ was absolutely tremendous. It really was. It was a Trent Alexander-Arnold type cross, wasn't it? And he's quality. He is quality. He makes things happen. Like you say, he's good off the bench, particularly, and he doesn't let us down. He doesn't let us down. He is a really, really good footballer. I know that he's not always popular with large sort of parts of our fan base who think he's either too slow or he hasn't got the natural pace. But technically, he's a strong player, and I think he does a really good job for us. And he is a strong member of our squad, and he makes a difference when he comes off the bench.
Dan and Travis saying he went to Nice in France. I bet that was nice.
Yeah, nice.
That's that Harry Enfield sketch, isn't it?
It is indeed.
I know a place that's nice. Nice. I'm sure he went to Turkey. Maybe that was on loan from Chelsea, and then he went to Nice. But anyway, we've got to give a shout out to Alisson again. OB, that save maybe 10 minutes before they actually scored, it could have got a lot worse a lot sooner than it did in the 81st minute. It was a great move again from Luton, hitting us on the break, and Alisson out off his line quick as anything. And I thought, Jesus Christ, we were nearly 1-0 down there. The writing was on the wall, and they did score in the end. But what a save from Alisson.
Absolutely. Great save. And he continues to be the best keeper in the league, in my view. I don't think there's many people can argue with that. In the world. Wow.
In the world.
I think there's an elite group, and we all kind of know who the elite goalkeepers are, and I think him, Courtois, and maybe a couple of others, Edison. But I think he's up in that group, and he continues to show why he's so important. Did so well, and just an absolutely solid goalkeeper, and he's good with his feet as well.
I laugh, Scott. Cheers, Dan. Where do we go from here, OB? We're not in a title race, are we? It's too early. Well, we've got players like Gravenberch settling in. We've still got to fix the number 6 CDM. Alexis McAllister is going to find his feet elsewhere on the pitch, out of CDM. Szoboszlai is obviously young still. He's going to find more of his feet. Nunez has still got a bit to go before quite a bit to go after today's outrageous miss from 2 yards. He's got quite a bit to go. This is still a growing team. Kanate, there's rumours we're linked with that Ait Nori of Wolves at left back. We've got a way to go. We're not a title race, are we?
I don't think we're any more or less in the title race than Arsenal at this point, who were ahead of on goals scored. We're on the same goal difference, same points, same games. So we just keep ticking over. It's one of them. You can't get too up with the good times when you batter teams, and you can't get too down when you have a draw away potentially tough opponents. So I'm okay with it. We move on, and we just see how the team develops. And Klopp will be spending a lot of time on the training ground, making sure that the boys develop and they learn from the mistakes. I think there's a lot of youngsters, a lot of people learning a lot in the team. So we'll see where we go. But I'm quietly confident that we're going to show a much improved Liverpool overall this season, and hopefully that means either a cup or two. And something to show for it at the end, and hopefully a Champions League spot.
And we've got Man City in 3 weeks as well. I think it's 3 weeks today.
Do you know what? I'm going to call this, and I'm going to say it, right? And you can play this back, and you can use it afterwards. I think Klopp is going to play 4-2-4 against City, and I think he's going to go for it, and he's going to play Gakpo, and he as a guy behind the front three, and he's going to really go all guns blazing, and Pep will do what he always does. He'll overthink how Liverpool are playing. He'll start playing about with teams, and we're going to beat him. And I think I said this time last season, and we've done exactly the same thing, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We beat them 1-0 at Anfield. We got slapped at Etihad, though, didn't we? It was about 4-1, 5-1.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
scored
But,
first as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we did. But I've just got this feeling that we're going to do something completely different, and Klopp's got a plan for that game. He's very, very good in them big games as well, and that can't be underestimated. And I think he'll find a formation, and I think he'll go 4-2-4. I've got this feeling that there'll be no playing about in midfield. He'll just take away you've got an extra man or two in midfield because you're playing all these inverted people doing this, that, and the other. That doesn't matter because we'll be banging it into the strikers as quick, direct as we can, and we'll be causing you absolute bedlam all over the place.
There's a lot of football to be played between then and now, though. So next up is Europa League, which I don't care about. OB, are you asked about Europa League?
I'll care about it when we get to the final.
I'll come alive in the semis, I reckon. I'll care about it from the semis onward. And then Brentford, and then it's another international break that everyone hates. And then it's Man City. So, yeah, there's 2 games before the Man City game. But me and Obi will be back, no doubt, between then and now to go over definitely the Brentford game. Not so much the Toulouse, is it? I think it's Toulouse again Thursday, isn't it?
Toulouse away, is it?
Yeah. Trav, are you going to get a buzz cut like Alisson now, Scott, like when you grew your beard when he did? I'll think about it, mate. I'm not sure I've got the hairline for a buzz cut, to be honest, mate. Dan, I could do your hairline if you're still watching. I'm definitely receding too much for it. I couldn't carry it off. But Dan, you should definitely grow a beard like Alisson. I reckon it would suit you. Obi, cheers for joining, mate. Thank God we got that injury time equaliser. Would you have still come on if we got beat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I would have been in a very different mood. At the end of the day, you take your moments, you get away with it, you move on. Everybody gets excited. All the anti-Liverpool fans get excited. I bet they're all absolutely like buzzing, going, "Oh, they're going to lose, they're going to lose." And when that went in, it's like a pin. We've just took all the air out and we just move on. And it's 2 points dropped ultimately, but you learn from it, you move on, and it's not a defeat, is it? So there you go.
Yeah, got to be happy with that. Again, just the last word, taking nothing away from Luton. Incredible performance. I got a little soft spot for them now. That didn't sound like 10,000 fans, did it, Obi? It sounded like 30 minimum. They were loud as anything, weren't they?
Yeah, they did. But some of the chants that they were doing.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. No. Send them down.
Yeah, exactly. In the bin, boys.
Hope you get relegated, lads, because singing about that, it's nothing to do with you. It was uncalled for. It was archaic, Trav. There you go. I've put it into another poddy. Trav loves the word archaic when I said Arsenal are bottle jobs. Right, nice one. Have a good week, OB. I'll see you on the next one, no doubt, whenever that may be. If anyone's made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, mate. Go on, Luis Diaz. Yes.
Header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty!